Good morning, children. Let me continue the same chapter with what I taught in the previous classes, the Union Legislature and the federal setup of government. So I have given you clear picture about why we adopted the parliamentary system of government and importance of federal setup. I already said it is federal setup is union and the state government, and the importance of that according to our constitution, it is already said, not with a compromise once our agreement with whatever with the other members, but it goes completely with whatever given by the constitution. According to that, everyone who are in our country to be followed, and once whatever is given by the constitution, and it cannot be taken by anyone else. Federal setup, in that once again we will come with the principles of the union list, concurrent list and state list. Before that, I could remind you, in last year you have already learnt our constitution is not flexible, not rigid. When there is a time need to be, I said, once the constitution is prepared forever, but we cannot be removed a single word or words from that. Instead, when anything to be added, and it should be, procedure should be gone. That means the rigid, very rigid, with a simple majority, and how the procedure will be going on according to that. If it is the boundary to be measured or to be divided or taken certain decision, so what are the methods that they are followed? Whether they followed the rigid method, very rigid method, or simple majority. So already you have learned in the previous class. So once again I remind, this is our constitution is not too rigid and not too flexible, so to become the play instruments in the hands of the parties whoever comes to take up the responsibility. So I also reminded you in the previous class, the 73rd and the 74th Amendment Act. It reminds that it is a Panchayat Raj system, Panchayat level. I said block samiti, then Panchayat is first, then block samiti, then Jilla Parishad, vice versa, where the response from Jilla, that is from Panchayat, whatever the documents to be submitted are directly, they cannot go to the state, so they go first from Panchayat to the Jilla, that is block samiti. From block samiti it goes to the Jilla Parishad, and the same way whatever the information they have to get it from the state, so it comes in the reverse manner. And that is what our constitution is. So our constitution works from lower to the highest and from highest to the lower, and I told you already, whatever the union of states, the union and state government, the work is divided only because the smooth running of the government, and every person, being a person, single person, to know what is happening around the country is impossible to the Prime Minister or President. So that is what we have divided into states, and again Panchayat level and the district and the block samiti to concentrate on and focus on the work and for the development. Because the people who are living in the Panchayat level or village level, so certain villages comes under Panchayat. So not a single village, at least 10 to 15 villages or 32 villages will come under the one Panchayat, where they can concentrate which village need to be developed, which village need things, what things it is needed. So only the Panchayat can decide, and they can recommend to the state government through block samiti. From there it can be submitted to the Jilla Parishad. From there we will get it funds in whatever the method that I taught you in the previous classes. So we also find Indian Federation is not considered to be, that is a strong center. With that, we also have a single citizenship, which I already taught you in the previous class, how it works and gives importance for each individual. And we also focus on in the constitution the three organs. Three organs of our constitution is legislature, executive and judiciary. I already told you legislature is a law-making body, and the executive is council of ministers, and it is also called function, and is executed to each and every department. That is very important. That is what the Council of Ministers are responsible for that, and they work with it. And also we come to the judiciary. It is independent body. Why we call it independent? It will not involve any politician, and it listens to the individual, and it will give verdict without involving any of the politician. There is no blood relationship here, no father, mother, brother, sister, husband and wife, whoever may be. So there will be no blood relationship will be there when they come for the judicial, that is Supreme Court. Supreme Court is a final interpreter, and it will, whatever the decision is given, it will be final, and it will do justice to every individual, if at all. In the subordinate courts, they are not got justice, or in the high courts, they are not got justice. But in the Supreme Court, surely a person comes with a problem after going through all the files, and they try to give you justification. So this, once again, in an elaborate manner about the judiciary, you will learn in the next classes when it comes the High Court and the Supreme Court and the subordinate courts. So when that chapter comes, you will learn in a detailed manner. And let me go to that is about the federal side of our government, how our center works with the union government. So it is divided. Finally, the union government take the decision without their knowledge. Not even a single work will be done by the concurrent or the state list, which is the state or in the panchayat level. Okay, let me come to the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is important. Lok Sabha members are also called, it is House of People, or that is called the House of the Government, that is the center. So here when I talk about the Lok Sabha people are directly elected by the people of the country. It's very important. How the people of Lok Sabha is elected means they are elected directly by us. Because Lok Sabha members are in the general election which ends. So whoever completed the 18 years and above are responsible to choose their own leader. If they ask how the Lok Sabha members are elected, they are elected by the people of our country. Again and again I am repeating, how the people of the Lok Sabha are elected, they are elected by the people of our country. And according to the 65th Amendment Act, it says the age limit, that is from 21 to 18 it reduces. So that is what whoever completes the 18 years, and they have the responsibility of choosing their own leader, and after every 5 years when the general election takes place. And the composition, we come to the composition. According to the constitution, there should be 552 members in the Lok Sabha. Means the members should be, according to the constitution, 552. In that, 530 members are representative of Union of the States, and 20 from the Union Territories, and 2 from the Anglo-Indian community. It is nominated. Once again I say it is nomination. Nominated by President, not elected. This word is very important. You have to use only nominated. Nomination means you have to use only nomination instead of nomination. If you use elected or some other words if you use, so you will lose your marks. So this is very important. Nominated. 2 members from Anglo-Indian community. They are nominated by the President from for the Lok Sabha itself. And present we are 545, including 2 Anglo-Indian. How these members are becoming the member of the Lok Sabha? We are having 1.2 crore people are living in our country. How among them, how these people get the opportunity? So here, because I have mentioned UP has 80 members, Mizoram and Nagaland will have 1, the 7 seats because it is a union territory, and that is what 7 seats are there. Here, according to the population, the seats are reserved. So it has to be, for example, the man after calculating MP into MLA divided by 1000, if the remainder comes 500, one seat will be added. One seat will be added to the Lok Sabha. If the remainder comes below 500, no seats from that particular state. Once again I repeat, if at all they divide MP into MLA into 1000, and if the remainder comes with the population 500, remainder comes, so one seat will be added. If comes less than 500 or 300 and so on, and that particular state will have no reservation or no seat in the Lok Sabha. Okay. So you can see why? Because more population in UP, that's what 80 members are there, and Mizoram and Nagaland only one seat if you compare. So that is what you can find the difference, and Delhi got 7 seats because it's a union territory. Okay. So we also have the reservation of seats, you have already told you, but here according to the constitution, as while they preparing the constitution, only the reservation of seats are given for SCs and STs. SCs will have 79 seats and STs will have 41 seats. Besides that, 1/3 of the seats will be reserved for every woman in every department. So as the reservation will be given for the SC and ST, so also the women will have 1/3 of the seats in every department of the government. And coming to the term, here if at all they ask what is the term of Lok Sabha, of course it is 5 years. Every government office will work for 5 years itself, but here also as per the constitution, the term of the Lok Sabha is 5 years, but in the time of emergency it will be extended to 1 year. Only in the time of emergency, any calamities or war, any natural disturbance is in our country, if it is a president rule is announced, then it will be extended for 1 year, not more than that. In case it extends more than 1 year, once again they should take the permission from the president. If he permits, then it will proceed. But otherwise, 1 year it extends, means within the 6 months time, they should see to arrange the election to be taken and to replace that. Okay. Coming to the session, we have budget session, monsoon session, winter. So here budget session will be February to March, and the monsoon July to September, and the last winter November and December. Within that, so the sessions will be taken place. Actually, according to the constitution, for each session there should be a 6 months gap. Compulsory at least 2 sessions should be held. Here it is according to the constitution, there will be 3 sessions. If not compulsory, once in 6 months there should be 1 session, and yearly 2 sessions compulsory. According to the constitution it should be. And I talk about the composition of the Lok Sabha. Once it is composed, the first duty of the Lok Sabha, after composing, after having completed getting all the members according to the constitution, and the first duty they will make a government. So for this, according to the constitution, so the president invites the prime minister, and he will be elected because it is a formality. Already the party members will be chosen whom to be appointed as the prime minister, but according to the constitution he has to appoint him, and after that he invites along with his members to form a government. After forming the government, they will take oath in front of the president, so they will be sincere and true to their works whichever is assigned to them, and work for the welfare of the nations. That is composition, the duty of the Lok Sabha, what it does. Next, coming to the quorum. What is quorum? It's a very important question. What is quorum? Quorum is, if at all we want to have a session, so 1/10 of members should be present. So 1/10 means, according to the constitution, I said 552 members are to be in Lok Sabha. So 1/10 here is 55, including the speaker. 55 members means compulsory 55 members should be there, otherwise no meeting will be held. If 54 members came and 1 member is less, let us have a meeting, it is no chance at all. 55 means 1/10 member compulsory to be present, to be the meeting to be held, otherwise it is cancelled. So quorum, what is quorum is 1/10 of the members should be present for the session to be held. And coming to the language here, according to the constitution, in the parliament, when sessions are held, when the meetings are going to take place, only 2 languages are used, that is English and Hindi. In case a person don't know both the language, English or Hindi, when he or she don't know to speak or to communicate, they should take a prior permission from the speaker, and the speaker gives permission only. He should arrange, whichever the language he is going to communicate, you should arrange other person to translate, because the language is only English and Hindi is a common language where everyone can understand, but the other state language, most of them may not be, because people come from different states, because Lok Sabha is from representative of all the states of our country. So they may not know the language, but English and Hindi is a common language, everyone can understand. That is why they should take a prior permission. If at all they want to communicate in other language, they should arrange to translate it, so that everyone will understand what they are discussing and what we have to communicate with each other. Coming to the qualification, of course, he or she should be the citizens of our country. If other citizens of country is not allowed, not less than 25 years to be the member of Lok Sabha, and according to the constitution, whatever the qualification is required from the person, so they should have. Coming to the disqualification, if a person is not a citizen of our country, of course, will not be given importance over there, or if a person is insolvent or unsounded mind, who is not a normal person, how could he take care of the country? He can't run the country, he is unable to understand what exactly is happening, so he can't. A person who is insolvent, who was already arrested and put behind the bar, he cannot become a citizen of country. There is a prevention, so because of that, he cannot be a person to continue the work. So with this, I conclude my this chapter. I will continue with the same chapter in the next class. Thank you.